Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Slater. Rates may vary, billed monthly, ethos.com/Slater.
David Webb. What freedom means to me, it's about us. Our founding fathers gave us we the people. We're not disconnected from each other. We share universal common sense values that really make us a better society. When I talk about freedom, I also ask the question, what is freedom to you? The David Webb Show, weekdays from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Patriot. Freedom never gets old.
The Will Cal majority, lobbyists for the Constitution.
All right, joining me in studio. I think I should have like something I give out, like a mug, if you've been in here like 5 times or more. Brylan Hollihan, he's got a book coming out. When does it come out?
July 14th.
Make America Talk Again, How to Save Humanity from a Screaming Culture.
You can pre-order it today.
Give me the elevator. Give me the whole thing.
So I spent
Hey, Bushman, thanks for the follow.
Going to 10 campuses across the country, and I was threatened by my peers. I debated with my peers, and I also heard a lot of stories. Stories where you think in America we talk too much, right? Like it's a problem. Well, we've mastered the art of screaming. We haven't mastered the art of like having a conversation. This novel idea called civil discourse that we both know how to do, but a lot of our peers don't. And what I kept hearing from classmates is one that I believe in and one that I write kind of tucking my tail and hiding my beliefs was able to get a good grade by the local professor. And I was like, well, maybe this is an anomaly. Maybe it's like one campus. And we kept going and going. These SEC schools are telling me time and time again, they're terrified. They don't want to go to my speech because they're afraid they're going to get kicked out of their fraternity or sorority. They don't want to come to any fraternities. Oh, yeah. Really? Oh.
Hello?
Hey, Doc, Derek at ADT. How you doing?
With who?
Derek with ADT.
Okay, hey, what's up?
Hey, just keeping you in the loop. We're in the process still of gathering up all the required parts to swap over that existing system that should have never been installed.
Okay.
None of your concern, but kind of an internals issue. We got 3 different divisions for ADT. I'll just kind of give you a small scope of the write-up. So you got a customer service department that has their own install teams, and not to badmouth us, but they're the D squad as far as installations. We got to pretty much fix a lot of their F-ups, this being one of them.
Okay.
So originally the square footage of the place, that would be more of a corporate contract deal, different division than regular small business.
Okay.
But you're grandfathered in because we installed it, so we're going to take care of it and make it right.
Okay.
So anyways, we're going to get everything wired in because of the size of the building. Even with the net extender and all that stuff, it's not obsolete, but it's inadequate for the size of the building.
Okay.
So everything's going to be plumbed in, wired, all wired sensors. Every sensor that we put in, we're swapping out for wired, and then you'll have a hybrid panel.
Okay.
And then once all that's installed, then we can link the cameras in, and then we can move forward and close it out. So that's what the plan is. I gotta pull parts from different divisions just because we don't do a whole lot of wired. Like our wired systems are a specialty. Like per request, everything is going to wireless. But we still do have some customers that we do install. So anyways, that's where we're at. I'll keep you in the loop. I'm trying to get this resolved this week. So as of right now, I'm shooting for Friday. I'm waiting for confirmation on parts, but that's what I got for you right now.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I could definitely be out there Friday if we're going to be able to make it happen then.
Okay. All right. I will let you know.
Yep. Just keep me updated. You got my email and my number. So.
All right. Thanks, Doc.
Yep. Bye. Okay. Why do I have to turn it back to sound back on? That's stupid. There's got to be something I can fix that. There.
Bama. I just wonder, is anybody ever going to ask for that? Little black girls in Alabama. I'm sorry, called Black ID, and he wanted to attach it.
Part of this program since our day one, which was 5 years ago this June, coming up on the big 5 year, my friends. But look, let's focus in on Pure Talk. Veteran-led company, helps our military. Vets are a huge priority. They've donated over $500,000 to America's Warrior Partnership, an organization on the front lines of preventing veteran suicide. Pure Talk creates American jobs by building a customer service team that's 100.
Honest conversations, and it's the place that Charlie was killed on. This is the worst place. It's really at the root of the problem, a taxpayer-funded obedience training camp.
You know, I'm going to be 54 this year. And I think the hippies in the 60s gave birth to political correctness in the 90s. And then my generation gave birth to woke. I remember it being bad, but not by comparison, right? Like, you could still have a conversation with someone that it wasn't, and it wasn't if you cross one of my lines, I want to obliterate your social existence. You know, that's where we are now. Like, you can't say, you can say, well, look, there might be something we agree on, but if you disagree on anything, you're, and I don't see that as much on the conservative side. I've seen the conservative side, I don't know if the word soften, but maybe let loose of certain things.
Sure, more like that.
You know, when was the last time we really talked about same-sex marriage? You know, and nobody cares that Scott Bessent is gay, and nobody cares Peter Thiel is gay. Nobody. It really is something I think that a lot of Republicans are like, this is really not worth. This is, but the left is getting harder and harder and more edged with their views. That if you say, I don't know if boys belong in the girls' locker room, they like to line up and shoot you over that.
Correct. That intensity is what scared Gen Z away from the monopoly that the DNC used to have in our generation. Yes, I helped with Trump's youth operation. He ran a good campaign. He did the social media outreach. He really did earn Gen Z's vote. But also a lot of it was the Dems scared us away. They got so extreme. They ran so far to the left that they fell off a cliff. And Gen Z's left standing like, whoa, the millennials went with them. What's happening here? They've gotten so extreme if you can't be friends with them, you can't talk to them, you can't sit with them, you can't work with them. They can't be in your family, dining room table. That's how extreme these people got, and we're left going, that's actually not how this is supposed to work.
I still stand by, I think what really started all of this with your generation was the lockdowns.
Absolutely.
Turned into a denial of rites of passage.
Correct.
That you couldn't go to prom, right? You couldn't do the things that every other generation of the modern era had done since Dick Clark and American Bandstand. You couldn't go to a dance. You couldn't go to the prom. You couldn't celebrate a Sweet 16. Getting your driver's license meant you were supposed to be able to go do things that now you can't do. You're turning 21 is a big deal among young people, so I've heard. You couldn't do that, right? And when you deny that right, those rites of passage, you can't get those years back. No. And that makes you think, holy crap, these people are authoritarians. And that probably led a lot of young people to get engaged, whether it was listening to this old here or seeing it on TikTok. Whatever it was where they went, they found the alternative to the Democratic Party.
What became clear during COVID is that for the left, government was their God. It was a religion to them. They were obsessed with it. They worshipped it. They wanted the control, the structure, and the monopoly on your life in every aspect of your life. Remember, you had to strap that diaper to your face anytime you walk outside of the house. You could pull it up to eat because you couldn't catch COVID then. We were locked out of school for a year and a half, 2 years. You couldn't go visit Granny for Thanksgiving dinner, but it was okay if you went to the strip club. That was allowed. These kind of insane things woke us up to, whoa, maybe the government isn't our best friend, because in class we were taught to hold our hands out and live off the government for the rest of eternity. That was our dependency, right? Like we can trust the government, right? They're not out, to attack us. And we kind of started thinking maybe they don't have our best interests at heart. Maybe they have their interests at heart. The Reagan quote, "The scariest words in the English language are 'I'm from the government, I'm here to help,' rang true to my classmates and I during COVID, where we said, whoa, another 6 weeks to sell the spread. What do you mean it's another year to sell the spread? I thought you said this was going to be wrapped up. What happened to the freedom here? The freedom to wear your mask in your car and stay in your quarantine, or the freedom to go out and keep working and keep going to work? What happened to that freedom? Oh, that's correct. The government's going to control every aspect of your life.
Yeah, part of becoming coming of age is going to a music festival.
Absolutely.
Right? All these things that we said you can't do, we took those years away. And it's funny, I don't blame for a lot of young people that aren't so engaged. They got a whole lifetime for that. They got a whole lifetime. I mean, I look at my daughter, she's 16, she's got her driver's permit. All she's thinking about is getting her driver's license and all these things. And when I talk to her about it, the one thing that I don't do is say, you will think this way. Because I know she's at the age where she will, I don't know, she's developing her own sense, but I notice she's developing her own sense not because I'm telling her, because she's seeing it. So she might ask me a question like, well, what do you think of that? Well, how do you think that works? And, she was asking about what a stock market crash would mean and all these things the other day. That I look at some of these people on the left and they look at young people and they say, you will think like us or else. Now, traditionally, American teenagers do go through some period of rebellion, and these people, I think, overplayed their hand and are now seeing the results of what is a rebellion toward. You'd have to really screw that one up.
And a lot of, we hear the opposite effect of if you push it on them, they're going to run the opposite direction. To say, oh, because my dad told me or forced me to believe this way, I'm going to run to the left. And then they're like, whoa, what happened? So I think the mindset of sharing it, exposing them to conservative Christian morals and values, letting them aware of your thoughts, not saying, this is the rule and you're going to follow this, but making sure people have those conversations. Republicans are very quick to judge higher education, as we should. But I think a lot of the blame is put on there as laziness of, oh, my kid went to college and they got indoctrinated. I'm sitting in the classes. Yes, there's indoctrination. The ones that become most acceptable to it are the ones that had no exposure to politics beforehand. So when the free things and emotions are dangled in front of their face in a college lecture, they immediately gravitate towards it. They don't know any other alternative. They've never heard it because their parents grew up, raised them in this mindset that politics and faith are taboo. That you can't talk about politics or faith at the dinner table, that you can't talk about politics or faith in the living room. Therefore, when they leave the living room and go into the classroom, they're going to immediately bend the knee and fall into the indoctrination that's in front of them. So there's a healthy exposure, there's a healthy way of conversations and sharing with them your morals and values in the home before they go to class without, hey, this is how you're going to believe it, you're not going to shy away from it. Then they run.
Right, one thing,
Please.
Brian Holly joining me in the studio. The book coming out in July, Make America Talk Again, How to Save Humanity from a Screaming Culture. What do you do with, for example, these two individuals that came here to throw nail bombs were raised in multi-million-dollar homes, right? They weren't recent refugees that were radicalized. They were living in Bucks County, PA. You have the Mondani's housing czar who said home ownership is white supremacy. She grew up in a multi-million-dollar home. I mean, going back to Che Guevara, who was the son of a doctor and a doctor himself, that you have a lot. I think there is generational and revolutionary jealousy, a toxic revolutionary jealousy. I want to be a part of something, to be a part of it. If you've been handed maybe you're jealous of the struggle. Maybe you feel like there's a certain amount of imposter syndrome that I got into this college because my parents gave me every advantage. And I want to go adventure slumming and pretend, and that's from David Mamet's book. That's what he calls it, adventure slumming, where I'm going to take on the role of the fist in the air, revolutionary, fighting for whatever your flavor is this week, right? Even though I have no experience with it whatsoever, because I grew up in a nice, and I'll give you another, Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett went to private school her entire life, She comes from a wealthy family in Missouri, and now she plays the role
with the accent.
with the falsetto, the accent. I don't know how to crack that nut when I see young people who are. I remember the 2011 Occupy, and the kids with the Range Rover. Travis Hunter's book, July Make America Talk. And the kids with the Range Rover.
Here we go.
Because of something that happened, a century ago with their ancestors, potentially, and they say, well, I'm supposed to feel this way. I'm supposed to, give you reparations for culture and make sure to make life easier for you in these universities or campuses, whatever they're talking about.
Didn't they say the government would do that through the Great Society?
Correct, not through these little, princesses and their designer outfits with their drinks. What we're constantly seeing time and time again, though, is they're getting this from the classroom. They're being taught in the classroom to replace their gratitude for America with guilt for America. That because they were born in the greatest country on the face of the planet, they're supposed to feel guilty for that. They're supposed to make sure that there's this even playing field. And I want to look back at the person, and I do every single time, and say, you would not constantly see time and time again, folks. They're getting this from the classroom. They're being taught in the classroom to replace their gratitude for America with guilt for America. That because they were born in the greatest country.
Damn it. Yes.
That is essentially allowing the airport to consolidate TSA agents into higher leverage operations, if that makes sense. And the unfortunate part, though, is the union that essentially represents TSA employees decided to issue a partisan statement. Here's what they said.
We've seen the lines at TSA. ICE agents are trained for enforcement operations, not necessarily managing thousands of frustrated travelers and small babies trying to get through a checkpoint. It's something the TSA Officers Union representative also pointed out in a statement condemning the deployment, saying you can't improvise that kind of training, and say putting untrained personnel at security checkpoints does not fill a gap. It creates one. What is your response to all of this?
Well, the president has an obligation to the American people. We have infrastructure. Airports are critical infrastructure. They've been designated as critical infrastructure. Our ports of entry are critical infrastructure. Deploying ICE, which is a component of DHS, is appropriate. The bigger issue here is that they need to fund TSA. They need to get these agents back on their job. The ICE officers that are there are deployed there to assist and be a force multiplier.
So, Scott, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're like, it may not be what they do day to day, but our officers are able to adapt and adjust when necessary.
Absolutely, sir. We've seen this throughout. ICE officers adapt to the situation, sir.
Sometimes I just believe that people have to complain about something and shoot something down because they're already frustrated and upset. And they're not in the mindset of, like I said earlier, out of the box thinking. They're not in the mindset of solutions. They're not in the mindset of let's take care of what we can take care of right now. They just want to bitch, moan, and complain, which is why that statement from that union is a total joke. So what you're saying is, let's not even add any ICE agents at these airports. Let's just let the lines pile up. Let's continue to put TSA even under more pressure because no one's actually there to support them. Is that what you're saying? It's a total joke, in my opinion. And also, it's disrespectful, really, in my opinion, to ICE agents, which I know they don't care about, as if they're just stupid or something. like you can't instruct an ICE agent who's already working for a federal agency to do X, Y, or Z. Guys, this is the federal government. Training is not necessarily the same as far as different agencies wide, but the concepts are the same, okay? And it's not like these guys are idiots, okay? I'm sure you can tell them, hey, someone comes across this door, please check their ID, if that makes sense. But hey, I mean, this is what happens when you have to disagree. All right, speaking of disagreement, this next story I think is a fitting one. This is more about what Democrats are trying to do in order to win back men in their party, to win back young voters in their party, to find some way to win 2029. The reason why I'm talking about it is because it continues to highlight what's missing in politics, which is common sense. Listen to this poll from CNN. Take a listen.
Donald Trump and Republicans won in 2024 because of support from male voters. The only way they can win, given the gender gap in this country, is support from male voters. And male voters are abandoning Donald Trump. Take a look here. This gives the game away. Okay, Trump's standing with men. In November of 2024, he beat Kamala Harris among them by 13 points. Look at where he is now on his net approval rating. Down he goes. It's a 20-point shift away from Donald Trump. He is now 7 points underwater at this particular point among men. I think it is very difficult for Republicans to do well in this midterm cycle if Donald Trump is underwater with men. As my uncle once wrote, where the boys are, where the men are, they are underwater when it comes to Donald Trump.
Okay, so that's overall men, but what about young men who were really influential?
Yes, young men. Of course, there was a massive shift to Donald Trump from 2020 to 2024 among young men. And look right here. Whoa! Yikes. Men under the age of 25 on Trump. He won him in 2024 by 5 points. Look where he is now. The net approval rating way down there. Down we go to negative 19 points. That's nearly a 25-point switcheroo against the president of the United States when it comes to men under the age of 45. Those men that had switched their allegiances over to the Republican Party are seeing what the president is doing. They don't like what the president is doing, and they have very much soured on the president of the United States.
If that poll is even half true, the main reason has everything to do with economics. Now, if you're online, it would have to do with Israel, obviously, right? And what's happening with Iran. But the real driver, if you're talking about people who actually get off their couch and vote in an actual election, it's economics. Absolutely. It's the economy. And right now, the problem is that if you're talking about getting a mortgage, it's not really a reality for most people out there. Not right now. Could be in the future, obviously. And I'm sure things will improve. Just hasn't improved at the pace that we would ideally love or that we would ideally want. I'll give you a great example of this. In Austin, the real estate market is really interesting, meaning it's just best for people to rent right now. If finance is an issue for you and you're trying to get the most bang for your buck, you wouldn't buy a house, not in Austin. Unless you're going to buy it cash, unless you got money like that, you're not going to do that. You're going to rent. I mean, essentially, let's say you're renting a place for $1,000. You went to go buy the place. Your mortgage is not going to be like $1,700. That's an extra $700, including the expenses that you take on personally because you now own the property. That is a problem in America, ultimately, right now. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, and I'm screaming about this, and I think this is more than the president. This is just our members of Congress who have failed on both sides of the aisle, have failed young adults. They've not done anything to address the scam that is happening in college. Now, unless you're going to become a lawyer, an engineer, a doctor, something of that nature, everything else is a scam, literally. Why would I be going into debt to pay for a philosophy degree? Okay, that's number one. Number two, why do we not have an accelerated training programs to get young adults into college and out of college as quickly as possible and into the workforce? You guys know, if you watch my show, I talk about this every single time. It's beyond me why that doesn't exist. And it may exist in certain colleges. I'm talking about across the board. It should just be a requirement. No one needs to go to college at the bachelor's level for 4 years. That's ridiculous, okay? And finally, whether it's mortgage prices, whether it's education, overall, it's also a problem with what our children or what young adults are being programmed to believe is success. Someone believes success is like, hey, I need to become a billionaire by the age of 21. And the fault of those ideas and that misconception of life comes from the internet. So there's there's this programming that's happened with young adults. They look at success differently than millennials did or continue to, obviously, and especially Gen X, where the older you go, the more likely you believe in the idea that you got to work hard for a very long time to finally get what you want in life. The younger adults, they don't believe that because that's not what the internet has been programming them to believe. So there's a disconnect too, and that's why a lot of them are not into the trades. They're not into getting a career or a job for the federal government or something of that nature. So these are all issues, regardless of whoever the president is, will continue to be a problem in these elections. I think that is fair to say. Now you throw on top of what's happening with Iran, what's happening with gas prices. Okay. Now, having said all that, let's go to what Democrats are trying to focus on as a result of all of this. Take a listen.
Right now, we have to put a mirror up to the absurdity of the President of the United States dressing up as the Pope, cosplaying as Superman, putting his face on the side of Mount Rushmore, attacking and belittling communities and minorities. I don't wake up every day to try to find, a crowbar to put in the spokes of his wheel. I don't. That said, I'm going to stand my ground. We're going to have the backs of our diverse communities, and we're going to fight back. And yeah, fight fire with fire. And I know two wrongs don't make a right, but with all due respect, we'll lose this country as we try to win that argument. The Democrats are constantly trying to be right. The other side is ruthless. And with respect, my party needs to be more ruthless about winning, because if we don't win back the House of Representatives, we may not have a fair and free election in 2028, and I really believe that.
Okay, so that clip from Gavin Newsom sums up exactly what the Democrat Party's focused on: your feelings. Why am I showing you him? Well, because you guys know the gates have been opened, the carpet has been laid. He will be the nominee for the Democrat Party. He's establishment chosen, and they're going to run with him. And the bottom line to it is they offer no solutions either. Now, they'll scream about affordability, and they'll blame President Trump, obviously. A lot of people will probably eat it up. And then when they get it to power, like we see with Ron Donning, whether we see with Katie Wilson and Abigail Spanberger, they do the polar opposite. They raise taxes, which means what? There is no economic freedom. So, it's really a conundrum for the American people. On one hand, you have the Republican Party, who's truly incompetent. They haven't done much of anything either, but they're not batshit crazy. So I guess you'll have to take your chances, right? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I definitely would never vote Democrat, not in this period of time. No chance. And also, I would participate in my local elections, just so you guys are clear. Now, having said all that, let's go one step further where, again, this is the platform for the Democrat Party. They believe when it's only American citizens voting in our elections, it must be a cruel thing. Take a listen.
But right now, you've got to deal with the fact this guy's trying to nationalize the federal elections, that this guy's trying to do the SAVE Act, which is about literally wiring the elections, as he said, for the next 50 years. He's quite literally. This is the cronyism, the capitalism,
the house is on fire.
This corruption story.
The house is on fire.
Rewriting history, censoring historic facts.
Yeah, but terms of our new old.
This is code red. And so we have to meet that moment.
When he says meet that moment, what he is doing is exactly what our federal government continues to do, no matter the administration. They have a bad habit of overcorrecting on policy. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's go back to one of the biggest events in history, the Civil Rights Act. If that piece of legislation was the only thing passed during that time, and they also did not overcorrect by forcing people to mingle together, which is obviously black and whites at the time, I think things naturally would have improved. The problem is not only did they pass the Civil Rights Act, but they forced people to go to the same high school. Then they forced and crammed welfare programs down the throats of Americans, which was detrimental to the black community. Overcorrection. Affirmative action became an overcorrection. DEI was an overcorrection. It's a bad habit overall. And again, we're going to see that here coming shortly. If Democrats gain power, they will overcorrect on what President Trump has done. And a lot of the things he's done, as far as domestically is concerned, have been some good things. Now, if there is an area that I would argue that there should be a correction on, and that is this administration siding with the company called Monsanto. which is responsible for Roundup and the chemicals that are used in Roundup that has caused cancer to millions of Americans. Our DOJ is literally at this point in time protecting them essentially. That is a legit criticism, and that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But at any rate, we can expect that Democrats will overcorrect, just so we're clear.
People talk about checking out, shutting the laptop, despair, despondency, and a belief that
pulling the covers over.
Belief that it cannot get better.
So I believe in public service. I believe that government can be a force for good in people's lives. By the way, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this work. At the same time, I've also seen how too many of these governmental institutions have failed too many people.
That's what I want to know. How do you think the Democratic Party has failed?
I think we have failed to deliver tangible results for people.
And although Josh Shapiro is just as worse as the rest of them, based on his rhetoric alone, he makes a good point. The American people just want results that they can see, that they can taste, that they can touch, that they can experience. That's really what we're asking for. I don't think it's a lot. The problem is the people in D.C., they're too greedy, okay? And they're not slave to us. They're slave to their donors. Again, if we go back to the Monsanto thing, that is a lobby donor issue, okay? Somewhere along the line, there was a deal made. It's ridiculous that this administration would protect that company. That's number one. Number two, that's not the only issue where that occurs. That happens on both sides of the aisle, by the way. And so while they're busy protecting the corporate donors and special interest groups, they're forgetting about people like you and me. So that's why when people get onto this show and they're like, Tavori, you're just running cover for the president. No, he deserves criticism too. No president is perfect, but he's definitely done more that is good than bad, especially if we compare him to the previous administration. I think that's fair to say. All right, let's put a button on this, because if we're talking about tangible results, this financial report sums it all up. Take a listen.
Newly released IRS data showing red states gained $39 billion in net income in 2023. So compare that to blue states, they lost $43 billion. Madison Allworth is live from New York City with more. And Madison, even I can do that math.
Yes, Dana. Money moves, and new IRS data from 2023 shows where hardworking Americans are taking their hard-earned dollars. Overall, states that wound up voting for President Trump in 2024 saw that net income gain of $38.9 billion, while states that voted for former Vice President Kamala Harris lost $42.5 billion. Florida was by far the big winner with $20.6 billion in net gains, followed by Texas at $5.3, South Carolina with $4.1 billion. That is people leaving other states to move to these no-income or low-income tax states. At the bottom of the list, California lost $12.9 billion in net income, followed by New York, Illinois, and Massachusetts with losses of 10.5, 6.1, and 4.1 billion respectively. This is not just about the taxable income leaving. When families leave, so do their businesses, their jobs, and their recreational dollars. But rather than learning from past mistakes, states that lost residents and their income are looking to increase taxes. Washington State, which lost over $540,000 in net income, just passed a millionaire's tax this month after being a no-income tax state. California eyeing a billionaire's tax, and New York is also looking at increasing taxes on the wealthy. Tax experts say money has never been more mobile with remote work and AI. And truly the perfect case study is Massachusetts. They passed a millionaire's tax that went into effect in 2023. That year, the state lost 41,000 residents, and they took with them $4.2 billion in adjusted gross income. Those in the highest tax bracket accounted for 70% of that money. The math doesn't lie, Dana.
The math does not lie whatsoever. I totally am in agreement with that. And again, when you're thinking about what's happening politically or culturally, I think at the end of the day, I've said it earlier, we are really left with bad choices. I guess we're just going to have to figure out which one is going to be, at least to our liking to some certain extent. Now, I'll give you a prime example of it. If you are a tried true Christian, there's no reason why you would vote for Democrats ever. I mean, not today. I mean, they literally contradict everything that biblical principles are talking about. Okay, they obviously promote abortion. They don't believe in marriage. Okay, they really hate men. Obviously, they promote feminism. They believe boys can play in girls' sports, right? They believe in this whole gender bullshit stuff that's going on. Yeah, that violates everything we are led to be taught by Christ himself. So, on that front, no wonder Christians really don't vote in our elections. And then on the other hand, let's say you're not really a Christian, or you are just someone who's apolitical, you're going to vote on the issues. Right now, Democrats are offering no solutions to no issues. Okay, that's not who they are. They're not going to solve any problems. They'll just make more problems. And Republicans, they may solve a problem or two. But again, as I continue to tell people, they're tolerating the president at this moment in time. As long as he's in the White House right now, they will put up with him. But as soon as he's gone, they're going to breathe a big sigh. They're going to be happy he's gone because they really wish he was not there to begin with. Why? Because he's a mass disruptor to the way things used to be. And I wish more people would just realize that. They make everything about the president when it's really not about the president. It's really about what we're seeing with the establishment. They want things to go back to the way it was before he came into office. But, again, as I said throughout this entire video, brain rot is the issue of the day. Okay, let's get to some of your comments and then we'll wrap up the show. I know some of you guys are... I guess didn't like my comment about Monsanto. Let me ask you a question. Do you think let's just remove Monsanto out of this conversation. Let's just put them to a side. Would you support the federal government, particularly the Department of Justice, representing a company that is German owned? It's not owned by Americans. The products come from Germany. The headquarters are in Germany. And they have had a long history of creating toxic chemicals that have been known, proven, studied, and confirmed to kill Americans. And they're so bad at it that they're trying to negotiate this settlement that is in the amount of, I think it's somewhere around $70 billion. Okay, because it's that bad. And what they're going to the Supreme Court for is to ensure that they can't get sued anymore. Essentially, they're looking for immunity. Would you support that? Because that's what we're talking about when we're talking about Monsanto. And this comment nails it. Germany doesn't even use their products. Yeah. I'm not talking about this whole thing with glyphosate or whatever it's called. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about overall what's happening with that company. Now, I don't believe in the federal government trying to handicap corporations. I do believe the federal government should step in when the corporation is killing American citizens. Yeah. And, the problem is if they get too big, the government usually does what they've always done. Go back to 2009. What did Barack Obama do? One of the first major decisions when he entered office, he bailed out the airline.
Give us money to have their super chat, then they should be able to see. Let's see, the comm stuff. We talked about that. Maybe we didn't miss many of them. Sumaru said you can't have communism with a dumbed down electorate. Leftists spent 40 years destroying public education and brainwashing students to support Marxism. True. Sergeant says it's Jeremy. It's like the school that the U.S. supposedly bombed. Mainstream media runs stories. U.S. military shows America likely bombed Iranian school. That's not what the U.S. military said at all. True. Forced name change says I'm sick as AF right now, drifting in and out of consciousness watching the show. Jared Hannah Clark keep making appearances in my fever dreams. Okay, well,
I appreciate your dedication.
Yeah, Silverback says if I if I go out, I know I'm having a drink. I just carry some DPS pepper spray. That's what I do too, actually. If I'm drinking, I always have that pepper spray. I forget the brand. It's Palm something. I think it begins with P. That's what I carry. You'd be shocked. I've seen plenty of like if stuff ever escalates, pepper spray, and it's done. Like people, it takes all the fight out of everybody, and you're just like, all right, well, we'll see you guys later, and you move on. The prosecution, she's white. The jury heard enough for life sentences. Oh yeah, that was back to yesterday. And then over on YouTube, there was the Fire Hawk says, Hannah Claire, you think those things are people? I think I remember the video she's referring to that to. And Nathan Brindley says Iran is who brought EFPs to Iraq, and the ones who blew us up in Syria with drones. We've been at war with them since 2003. Now we're just fighting back. So yeah, sorry I missed those yesterday. How was your weekend, Melanie? Did you
Good.
did you do some unpacking?
Yeah, more unpacking, more buying stuff for the house, and going to the gym. I'm still back at the gym, so no excuses. So,
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, okay. I feel targeted, but yeah, that's cool.
Did good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went back to keto instead of carnivore. I did carnivore for a week, and then I was like, I need.
Do you do carnivore to like reset or something? So it's like, is that how it works? It seems hard to do it.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. I'm gonna do carnivore again, see how I feel, and see if it made me feel any better versus keto. But now it's like, I mean, I started to get meat aversion.
Oh no.
I mean, that's all I was eating, and that's a normal like adaptation thing, though.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's just like I don't want to go through that all over again.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do keto.
Because you used to be vegetarian, right?
I was for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. The
love a fat diet. Have you been vegan?
Yeah.
Yes, I have for a time. I did vegan for like 3 months, and then I was like, okay, I'm about to die. I felt like my mental health was the worst, and I felt like I was getting brain zaps and stuff, and I was like, I'm not doing this. Nope. And I got up and made bacon and eggs there in that moment.
Medicine. It was medically prescribed bacon and eggs. I love it.
Yeah. I'm like low key trying. Probably not keto, but more carnivore now. I did I went down to when you do in a doggy stick, you like feed them chicken and rice and like get them on like a bland diet or whatever.
Yeah.
So I went on a bland diet for like 4 days, and I'll spare everyone the details, but like things were looking better, and I wouldn't say I was like feeling better, but it was like I could tell like my body was like, okay, this is clean, this is good. I added eggs back in this morning. Very bad. Instantly got sick.
Oh no.
So I was like, okay, so it was the eggs. So I used to have eggs every morning. And I was like,
okay.
I'm thinking.
Do you have egg allergy?
You might have some
I did like a food allergy test thing. It didn't come up on it, but let me just tell you, I ate 2 hard-boiled eggs and I barely made it when I needed to go. And it was like within 2 minutes. Like it was like I finished the eggs, boom, I got sick. And so I'm gonna try cutting eggs then, and I'm just gonna try to keep. I bought like a bunch of lean ground turkey, and I've just been eating that. Just I cook I eat a pound of it. Yeah. I put a little barbecue sauce on it. That's it. And I put broccoli in it and stuff for cauliflower. But like, that's what I ate for dinner. Like when I was eating bland, so I'm just gonna keep on that. It's not like Heather's always like Mrs. Quartering's always like, you don't want anything else.
We use her legal name.
Yeah.
That's how she's known around here.
That's the thing, especially if you have like fitness goals and stuff. Eating as bland as possible, and just stuff. That's the easiest way to do it.
That's what I told her. I'm like, don't even offer me anything. Just, I don't care how miserable I look. This is what I'm eating. So like, I have to get back on track, and I have to mealtime. I shouldn't be looking forward to mealtime. It should just be something that I do to keep going. And
well, I know a bunch of big guys, kind of like they were like, one was 6'3" and 6'4", tall guys. They were high school, college athletes. And I remember their mom told me she would make ground turkey or beef and like leave it in the fridge as like a snack for them all the time because they were always hungry because they're like giant athletes at that point. They were teenagers, and also it's like instead of them reaching for like candy because their blood sugar dips, like it's better to just have lots of protein options around.
Well, I was worried that like I wouldn't be full, but I just eat a pound of it. I can just put the whole pound in the pan, and that's what I eat, and I feel fine. I'm so full when I go to bed. So no more eggs. I tried adding eggs back in this morning. Not great. So eggs are back out, but I'll continue to try to like, you know, have a little bit of fun with it and add things here and there.
Are we Rumble's top nutritional and wellness podcast? Because we feel like we are.
I think so.
In addition to sports, that's really what we've conquered.
Yeah,
that's
we're also one of the
market.
Yeah, we're one of the top.
If you guys can co-sign and say that sounds right, or no, this is what I would like different.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, friend.
What's up?
Can you do me a big favor, Bubba?
Mm-hmm.
Can you disable John Jennings from everything?
Yeah. I'll be at the Green Springs office in about 15 minutes, and I'll do it then.
Beautiful. I'll see you here, Bubby.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Sports shows on
Amazing.
On Rumble too.
And
yeah.
fashion shows.
And fashion. You see, I got a new hat here. Just saying, little Mr. Hucky's on there.
Did yesterday's hat have a cardinal on it?
I did, yeah.
What was series of bird hats?
I do have bird hats, and
spring.
Yeah, it was springtime, so the cardinal hat came out. The American Eagle hat came out. Now the German Shepherd hat's out, and I also have a series of saltwater fish hats, like the lionfish and pufferfish, and some doves and deer and stuff. So yeah. So let's get in the show. I have a couple segments I want to do today. We're doing like segments to help put out VODs, but also to just gonna add some more structure to the show. This stuff, guys. Have you tried eating just egg whites? Because you could have a problem with the yolks. That's interesting. I did buy a thing of egg beaters that's egg whites, so I could try that. I didn't know that it was different, but yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was very obvious that it was the eggs. Let's put it that way. Like, have you tried just eating? Oh, the egg whites. I got that. Yeah, I became pescatarian back in 2011. I think getting rid of red meat helped me because I haven't been sick since. Well, everybody's different, you know, like their body, like I'm not a big red meat guy either. I love it, but I still treat it like a treat, you know, like, but let's get into the story because it's absolutely crazy. And I just know Melanie's going to have a very sensitive, she's not going to dunk on anything in this story.
No,
yeah, she's going to have,
it's do that.
It's going to be deeply. Yeah. So, all right, welcome in. This is if you're watching this later, this is a segment from our Quartercast live stream, recording live stream Monday through Thursday, 2 Eastern, or Fridays at 1 Eastern. So hopefully you guys will subscribe, or you just enjoy the vlog or the clip. There is a man. Now let me set this up for you because the headline alone will hurt your head. Quadruple amputee / professional cornhole player murders man while driving Tesla and disposes of body.
What?
This is the biggest.
He has no arms or legs.
He can do anything. He's able, guys. Don't talk.
Did the Tesla do it? Because how?
No. Oh, there's two other people in the car. There's two other people in the car, and he asked them to help dispose of the body, of which they correctly replied, "Nah, dog, we're good." And they just walked away and then called the cops.
They jumped out of the car and called the cops, and he set off and dumped the body in like the news is trying to say it's a remote area, but the initial reports were like someone else's yard.
Someone's yard. Yeah.
He woke up and there was like a body.
Yeah.
I want to know who got killed by this guy. Because,
well,
I'd be embarrassed in the grave.
I know. Yeah. This guy.
I mean, I don't think you would have assumed it, right?
That's true.
You see that road rage?
Yeah. I mean,
going on over there?
The guy's last name was Wells, and he was, I He was like the four of them driving around, and for some reason this guy was the one driving. But I guess he has the Tesla, so maybe he's driving himself.
Why would you want this? I'd be like, nah, it's okay. I'll drive, fam.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the most it was easily the most insane headline I've ever seen.
And he's in Maryland, and then he fled to Charlottesville, Virginia. Like, he was
shout out
attempting to
Mind
go on the
Quad.
run.
Do you guys know who Mind Quad is?
John, how did you open the curtain? Tell me how you opened the curtain.
John!
Mind Quad. Like that.
Yeah, that's, I mean, the Mind Quad is like a running joke on American Dad. It's I mean, driving and firing a weapon with no arms and no legs. I mean, the comment sections, like, by the way, this is him. Like, he can fire it. I mean, so yeah, I mean,
Mind Quad.
he uses Mind Quad powers. Imagine this is the last thing you see. I'd personally tell God to send me to hell. I don't deserve heaven if I just yeah. I mean, the armed and dangerous jokes, everything is I guess, like, I'm sure they got into some stupid argument, but like the other crazy thing is, like, I don't understand I don't understand.
There's so much not to understand here.
I don't understand any of it. I don't understand any of it.
Because it's not like, and this is rude, but it's not like there could be a quick draw, right? Like,
this is what I'm saying. Like, at some point he's like, he's like, hold on, I'm really mad.
But again, like, Teslas have a certain level of self-driving, so maybe like that's a good car for this scenario.
Yeah,
except also bad.
Well, the Tesla will tell you if your hands aren't on the wheel.
Yeah, it yells at you.
Is it always yelling at the sky?
Yeah, some kind of modification where it's like it always thinks hands are on, even though they're not.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know. I'm gonna really need to follow this court case. I'm gonna need pictures of this Tesla. I need to understand how this vehicle is operated because there's just so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't mean to make light of his right to bear arms, guys. I understand but it's like. I don't. I mean, there's like literal like feel good stories about him like overcoming and like, I mean, here he goes like, he's like he's flagging himself with the barrel, but he.
How is he pulling the trigger? I don't understand.
It's with his nub. It's with his nub. Like.
Okay, the real question is: are disabled,
you
like,
fucking cunt,
groups going to champion this guy? Because he's saying like nothing is holding him back. He could accomplish a lot. Rest in peace to his victim, but like, kind of crazy.
right in the exit only. Nice.
I think if his victim, if you're the victim and you're at the pearly gates, you're like, come on, man, like, you gotta let me in.
You gotta be like, I wouldn't have seen it coming either. No one else would have predicted this.
And what the irony is like, there's this like feel good story about how
they fallen
chance of living, and this miracle doctor saved his life. And then, like, I can't wait till they amended. He went on to murder a man in cold blood. It's like,
somebody needs to interview the doctor. The doctor who saved his life needs to comment.
Hey, if anyone watching at home is struggling to get out of bed today, if that didn't give you the motivation, I don't know what will. This guy is getting up and doing stuff.
I don't
Not even
know.
busy here.
Again, I wouldn't make fun of him. That's what I mean. Please, no, please stop. What you gonna do?
Well, in some cases, I like exit only.
You my love set.
Oh, so he goes to the other person.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
I'm sorry, what can I get for you?
I have a mobile app order in for LC48.
For Norm?
Yeah.
Come to the first window, hon.
Thank you. Fucking moron.
I watched an interview on the local TV of a guy who's like, oh yeah, like I know him. We all play, cornhole.
Yeah, I bet he does. He's gonna be playing a different kind of cornhole in prison.
Thank you. Yeah, don't tell me what to do.
Kind of blown away. Like I don't know how he accomplished it either. It's horrible. It's not what you would have expected.
He's gonna be blowing in prison. The officer. What? I was just on the way to work at the job.
Oh, sure it is.
How can I
For you? Thank you. Just 1 second on your food. Thank you.
He did have those like space legs, so I know he could like walk with those things.
There you go. You have a great day.
So it's like,
Right, you too. Thank you.
The other famous killer hat. Yeah, he had those too. Yes, wildly famous. But he had arms. Like he
from South Africa, and he murdered his girlfriend.
He like shot her through the bathroom door. Pistorius, yeah, thank you, chat. That so maybe they can share a cell.
Don't care where you're from. This shit's funny. Right there.
Are disabled. Yeah, there's probably some prison that is like the spot where people go, who have physical disabilities. Yeah, I'm guessing. But I mean, he's definitely going to. I mean, this is like open and showcase. Plus, it's in the Tesla, which means they'll have video evidence of it. They're just going to pull it from his car. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah. Tesla record inside or just the outside?
Well, what do they say versus what do they do? Because there is somehow it knows. I believe there's a camera in the rear view that like watches you when you're to know if you're like not paying attention.
Remember that video of a girl going down the highway like putting on blush?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. But obviously the ones on the outside will catch him. Drake. Can you imagine him dragging the body? He probably had to get into the driver's seat and like put his little snubs up. Be like, This is a crazy story. We'll have to follow. If we get if it's to share with you guys. Lolly. So you already know why people are moving to crypto, but here's the problem. Most wallets still plug into the same system we're trying to escape in the first place. That's why Rumble built Rumble Wallet. It's a self-custodial wallet that lives inside an ecosystem that actually defends free speech and financial freedom. No bank holding your balance, not even Rumble.
It'll go back down.
It's your money on your keys, on your
Or wallet.
If you're already using Bitcoin or stable coins, Rumble Wallet gives you even more power. Direct, fast tipping.
Always cracks me up though about gas.
Waiting weeks for payouts or dealing with random account holds. On-chain payments, assets like Bitcoin, Tether Gold, USAT, so you can move value globally without asking anyone for permission. Most wallets stop at storage. Rumble Wallet connects your money to the marketplace of ideas that refuses to cave to censorship. So if you're serious about sovereignty, financial and digital, this is where you level up. Go to wallet.rumble.com or search Rumble Wallet in your app store. Download it, back up your recovery phrase, and move your money where it belongs, in your hands. Rumble Wallet is a technology provider only and not a custodial service. See your terms at wallet.rumble.com. Shout out Rumble Wallet. The other story.
And I wouldn't even mention that much when it was over $5 ago.
See if you can move your mic closer to you for the segments at least. Yeah. But this is wild. This isn't the one. Oh, this is the one.
Like in 2022 or 3.
This one is uniquely Melanie. That's why I'm like, let's just have your mic close to this. Yeah, that sounds much better. Yeah, that sounds much better. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Let's see. Yes, hold the mic. Yeah. Yeah, you might be able to. Well, let's not even deal with it live. You just hold it for now. At least during the segments. Or you're fine. Well, what I'm trying to do is like do segments so that I can promote the channel, you know. So yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay.
Shape up, Melanie.
Yeah, shape up, Melanie. Well, welcome in. This is another segment of perhaps us quoting live, or live show live Monday through Thursday, Eastern, and Fridays at 1 Eastern. If you enjoy, I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel and like the video. I have found perhaps the most embarrassing post ever, and I have the best person I know to tell me if I'm being too mean or not. Okay, I want to preface this that this is a Christian man trying to share the gospel. Okay, but he also called his wife a whore, and the tweet has been seen 27.7 million times. This is how it started. My wife was formerly promiscuous. Now again, not everything has to go on the internet. I just want to preface that.
Some thoughts you can.
Some you can. I was a virgin. Committed to church, evangelized constantly, Puritan books in the bedroom, prayer journals, grief over past sin, etc. We got to know each other well for over a year, dated for 4 months, engaged for 2.5, and did not sleep together. Good, cool. That's all. It's all fine. Yep.
Yeah.
Our first kiss with each other was at the altar at our wedding day, which I think is odd.
That is weird.
I mean, you can
Some
still
people
kiss.
do it that way. Yeah, some people do it that way.
Yeah.
If that's how you want to do it, that's.
Melanie's feeling judged right now, Jeremy.
No, that's why I say it's a topic for Melanie, so she could ground me, because all I want to do is 360 spinning dunk on this guy for basically, you didn't have to share this part. Of course, the comments are savage, right? Like, oh, she got used up, then she turned to the church and she married. I understand people's inclination to do that. I won't be doing that. I think that's kind of cool. But like, do you change this? Also, I have a hard time believing she had a Greek body count. But anyway, so he shouldn't have done the soy face, and he shouldn't do the soy face. But if they get 11,000 likes, now basically everybody in the comments is really dunking on him. Do we think that we should share what do you think? What do you think about because he also said that he shared the permission.
Right. It looks like so I'm of the opinion that.
Hey, I'm already fucking
shared,
election shit up.
Called to share it, and if he did,
county commissioner.
I think the actual premise of this is. Some people seem to be mad at it if they think oh, but I don't want to have to be a woman who was promiscuous, and it's like, yeah, you don't have to. You're allowed to have your preference, and you don't have to do it. But I think what he's trying to share is redemption through Jesus Christ in this situation, and how he seems to be happy in his marriage, and
they have 3 kids.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, this is a love story that has a good, it turned out all for the good in the end. And how amazing is it that she was redeemed and saved by Jesus Christ? So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I love dunking on people, but I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I think that it's okay. It seems like they're happy. It seems like she truly did repent and change her ways. And isn't this what people want?
Are you saying, Melanie? Are you saying that she did, in fact, redeem it?
She did redeem it. She
did.
No, but that's just my thing. Isn't that
it's lose-lose, isn't it?
Yeah, because if we're we're criticizing people who are being promiscuous or doing the online prostitution stuff, all that kind of stuff, then why are we dunking on people who get saved and turn from it?
Yeah.
It's like there needs to be a path out, and this is the one thing that like the left likes to do is they want to continue to dunk on people, and regardless of what changes they've made in their lives or whatever, and there's no winning with them. Well, there is winning through Jesus Christ, right? You can't, no matter what you've done, and I think this is a good story for everybody, because I know a lot of people want to dunk on this woman, but they're not dunking on men who are promiscuous.
They are dunking on
porn and stuff. So
yeah.
it's like, hey, there is redemption for everyone through Jesus Christ if they follow him.
But now let's see does he go too far by saying she's in fact more pure than most virgins, as biblical purity has less to do with past sins, though they certainly matter, and more to do with one's current posture of the heart. I feel like he's overselling this a little bit. It feels like kind of like a coat.
That might also be true, though, as well. Because, I mean, in reality, we all fall short of the glory of God, and we all, without Christ and without being born again, we're all despicable. We're all terrible. So, yeah, just because someone might be a virgin doesn't inherently make them pure. So there is some truth to that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, just
and I
you
would assume that, you know, a lot of sins are actually equal in the eyes of God. Like, they're just as bad as others. Whereas, like, we're like, she's a whore. This is the worst thing that ever could happen. I agree with Melanie that, like, don't we want people to repent? Don't we want them to come back to Christ? And, like, there has to be a way out. I assumed that if she was big into evangelizing, that this is a part of her testimony or whatever that she shared before. So it's not surprising to me that she's like, yeah, it's fine, you talk about it. The like she's pure than a virgin, the other virgin thing it's an interesting like thought experiment, right? Like if someone's a virgin but they murder someone, like that's not good, right?
Right.
Like,
that happens every day.
It doesn't mean you're the best person ever if you have remained a virgin. But you know, it is interesting that like there is so much shame for this guy for being like you're a loser and you're dating this woman, but actually like the gospel teach about like forgiveness and like repentance.
I covered this in a standalone video and I was a little more cruel in it, but I did say kind of at the end like, hey, you know what? This guy's married. He's been married 5 years. He has 3 kids, so they've been busy.
Right.
Yeah, and like it truly, it's like that. Remember that other girl, that OF girl that was like doing this, you know, I'm saved now tour, and people are like, she's garbage, she's grifting. I was like, she's probably making more money. She made more money back then than she's doing now.
For sure.
And there's like, the kids aren't his chat. There is no winning like that. He's happily married. Look, I will say this, that I know like Melanie has softened my heart, which is annoying. But like, brother, you should have not put this on the internet. Like, I'm not sure, like, it feels like a cope. I know it might not be.
It seems like it's bothering him, right?
It does bother him.
It, but he's still thinking about it. That's the one thing that maybe it is.
That's true.
It's really hard to say. We can't say that for sure because hey, I'm also a big like TMI person, but hey, I can't judge whether or not God put this on his heart or not. Maybe he did.
Right. I get that.
Yeah, I did say that in the video. It's like, you know what? Like, Kenzie put people log on this app every day and post personal things that you couldn't even waterboard out of me. Like,
that is true.
Yeah.
Also, I saw on X there was apparently she has shared her testimony on her page, but it's so much more than just that. I think because that's what he like honed in on in particular. But in hers, like she was into New Age yoga, she was a mystic, all this stuff, and then now she's a born again Christian. Her testimony's been on her socials for 6 years. So yeah, I don't
it's
think
not a
this
grift.
was yeah, I don't think it's a grift. I don't think this was some just like PR move or something. I think he just felt like he wanted to share this testimony, and he did. And yeah, some people are making fun of him, but I think that his intentions were in the right place, and I think good for him.
Or were they, Melanie? He also happens to run On the Mount Inc., which is a Christian-based social media advertising firm.
Ooh. He's showing his prowess for going viral.
His last video, you know, look at all this growth, but the two things can be independently. Like they don't have. I don't think he would like purposely humiliate himself to get a few extra bucks for his advertising agency. You know.
I mean, yeah, just because like.